Yeah, it be like that. This man knows nothing. Everybody in the room is just silent. Absolutely silent. We love to see it. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device. I mean, I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge, at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. But your whole deduction hinges on it! Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be true. However improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it into something that Mrs. Sato lent me once.
Objection!
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was. The lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in a way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find 2 ropes. As evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of the rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. Look at her face! You can literally tell how worried she is of the whole situation. She's like, is my hero washed? No. It's the evidence that is wrong. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. We must do it quickly, or Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. 3. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Topic 1. Left furniture? Conclusion, because gravity was reversed. It's plain to see this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table, and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I think gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oh, that's unusually merciless merciless of you, Mrs. Otto. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he? Oh, he seemed to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Alright, can we look? Yes, we can. Oh. Why is this the way it is? Well, well. I was expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here. That's for sure. Oh, look at that! I know. That slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment. But the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the frailty of life. Wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruto, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me. Oh, upright vase. Inverted furniture. Was it bolted to the ground? Oh look, Mrs. Sato! And everything seems to be upside down in here. This safe is conspicuously the right way up. Yes, that's true. But look more closely at the safe's feet. Ah, that's a lot of very large bolts fixing to the floor. Think before you speak. That's what you wanted to say, isn't it? I really put my foot in my mouth there. I certainly didn't say that. Yeah, but, you know, you implied it heavily. Present.
Take that!
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruto, you're surprised, surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one's trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. As you rightly say, it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down. This unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's an exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Now that we know this contrivance is not, in fact, an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite. And naturally, there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. Whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. Okay. Huh? Safe. Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair. Oh yes, safe. 432582. Safe? As in safe and secure? As in a secure lockable box, I think. admittedly more likely. Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So you mean this number would let us open it? I wonder why it's written there, though. I don't think that's the reason for the safe combination. It's kind of the only other thing here. Let's look at this. We already established that gravity wasn't actually reversed in here, haven't we? In other words, this isn't an anti-gravity device at all. Which makes me very curious to know what sort of device it is. I think for now it's clear that we're looking for an answer elsewhere. Okay. So yeah, that's the only other thing I got. Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruto, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year. When I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. What pray happened next, Mr. Naruto? When the day of the draw came around, I forgot which book I'd written the number in. I had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know? I couldn't remember which magazine I slipped the ticket into. Thank you, Mr. Naruto. But I believe I've proven my point now. Which is that the very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. Remember that he'd written it on the underside of the piece of furniture, but forgot which one. Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. To find the safe combination. It's such a stupid thing that he did. Oh my god. Missing Benjineer. Escaped from the skylight. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madame. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Well, if a change in direction of gravity can explain it, then how did those footprints get there? Yes, I feel as though the particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life is so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. What? What is this? This is the gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon. Yes, I think you're right. I think its helium is keeping it up. Green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me? If you see, there are footprints on the balloon too. Look! Oh, yes. Sure there's a clue, isn't it? Though, what it tells us, I'm not sure. Is that not what it is? A shoe? Why is there a shoe here? It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there? Look! Oh yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling? Oh dear. It's beyond me, I'm afraid. I think that's it, honestly. Like, the other things, there isn't any other things. There's just a skylight and shoe. I will present shoe now.
Take that!
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling, because of the nearby shoe! And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data. Ah! Huh? It was a piece of green... It was a piece of green balloon's envelope that Mr. Nardo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Gotts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred. Was the second birdcage the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception? You mean to say... If we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve or making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Ah! Most probable, Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by sealing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. Only there was some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the abduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. We just throw the rope up out of the balloon and pull it down to us on the ground? Much easier said than done, I feel. But could take us a very long time as well. True, perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Yeah.
Take that!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? That was found at the scene, in fact. In all likelihood, belongs to Mr. Drebber. But the man had only brought it away with him that day. He could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? Oh. Wow. Ah! What the? A waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong, quite impenetrable lock. I can't see the face inside. That means... Just a moment. This is the head of the waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh, goodness. I see if you joined the, dots, Mrs. Sato. Excellent. Ah, of course. A headless, waxwork model. The case of the abducted, Madame de Spell's, model that you largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame de Spell will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you now surmise, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes. But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame de Spell's and returning it, sans today, earlier today, was none other than Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Hairbrain's case and the waxwork reduction they're incredibly linked? By Drebber's workshop? Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in the room. What? His location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this abduction. And Drebber is right here? Somewhere in this room? So, Mr. Naruto, where do you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... What? A wardrobe? The safe. Look at all the mess in front of the safe. Yes, plans and accounting ledgers. Almost as if somebody was in a hurry to empty the contents of the safe.
Take that!
Before we gain access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to a safe. And pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that this search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Inside the safe. Of course. Of course. Yippee! So, Mr. Naruto, I think perhaps it's time we end this game of hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 1, 4, 3, 2, 5, 8, and 2. I knew that. Alright then, here goes. Bro is knocked out. found me. What? Why is he dancing? Eh? Alright then, sir. Mr. Not Drebber, I presume. Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of that waxwork and Madame de Spells as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then. No! Mr. Sholmes, only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. We got 1 foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to the anti-gravity machine is really quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices don't exist. She actually corrected Sholmes of all people? Whew. I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. Bro is just here. Can I show you this real quick, though? You have a good time with it? I'm not surprised you to learn that I'm actually a lawyer from the Empire of Japan. I detest lawyers. They wield so-called special powers in an attempt to grid down our freedoms. Yes, let me be clear. I detest lawyers very much. Any chance 2 negatives make a positive? Damn, why do you hate us? Look around here first. Still can't believe we were nearly blown up. What was that sideways glance in aid of, Mr. Naruto? I thought inducing meaning from the movement of people's eyes was your specialty, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind that now. Let's see what Mr. Drebber has to say for himself. Alright, I think that actually gets them all. Yeah, there is nothing to look at here. Alright. Okay, the time bomb. A death wish to have ya? Right beside that ticking time bomb? Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specifically designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe option. Precisely. But once you've climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is belted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens, in case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up? No, No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a span in my works. Is something wrong, Grayson? Do I have something on my face? Besides the usual eyes, ears, and nose, and mouth? He hates him so much. He's like, God damn it. What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be giving it a thorough going over. Don't you worry, Drebber. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, it would have been me. Oh. For some reason, I woke in fine fiddle today. Ugh. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly, I must have a screw loose, though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I put it down. They also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly, the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. Really incriminating blueprints. Don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself in the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. What are the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kineticist experiment at the Great Exposition. And the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, it's unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. That's enough! What's going on here, Grayson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well... Dr. Seath again? So the forensics investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Stronghart knew this, you'd be finished. You lot. Leave at once! My dear madame, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, there's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Seath? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Seath? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you see. Get out. But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Nardo? Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out, now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Grayson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, never have found this place. The whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here, but this lot disarmed. Inspector? Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. What are you... That one? You mean... Oh... It's an hour later than we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exposition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. To be continued. Next time, everybody, we'll be heading into trial to finally figure out the truth of this case. Until then, though, like, comment, subscribe if you can, and I'll see y'all later. Sayonara. Bye-bye.